That's the problem. That's the projection, isn't it? We project ourselves into the future, and there's your fear. What's going to happen? I'm picking apples today, and I want to own the factory tomorrow. It's a false desire, but they've got real consequences, haven't they? It's an illusion. There's real consequences involved. If it happens, it happens. You're not going to find out till it does. You know, everyone knows it really, but we create these illusions around ourselves and these petty fears in order to create this who I am, this me, self, this ego. Joy and happiness is the same thing, I suppose it is. It comes out of one. I think unhappiness is when you know what happiness is. I mean, if you haven't got one to contrast the other, you have to swing between these two things. But somehow you have to find a medium between the two, which takes you beyond this positive and the negative, the good and the evil, Nietzsche's, beyond good and evil. How do you transcend good and evil? It's not about goody two-shoes, or being like our friend in Oslo, an intelligent murderer. You've got to transcend that. It's like industrial schizophrenia. You have to, swing between these states that tell you, if you follow these signposts, you're going to get to this nirvana or this heaven in time. In time, chronological time becomes a psychological self, and you project it into this future. That creates your ego, I think, and that's the problem, is your ego. And that's why people become unhappy, or happy, whatever the state might be. You've got to transcend it. You've got to find a medium point in between. It takes you beyond it. And I think only you can do that. No one else can tell you. You discover it in relationships with another human being. But there's a third party involved as well, because you leave here and I go my way. And you carry that thing with you. It's knowing yourself, that thou art. Know thyself, that thou art. Do you understand what I mean by that? I think that's where your transcendence lies. It takes you beyond good and evil. And it happens moment by moment, if it happens at all. And you don't talk about it, you do. The Bible's a very good psychology, but all of the religious works, in many respects, or the major works anyway, they'll take us out of ourselves, and that's what they're meant to do. But we have to struggle in order to find out where the truth lies, which isn't your truth or my truth. It takes us beyond this good and evil, this positive, negative world that we create around ourselves, because we're locked, maybe, into maybe today we're locked in the wars, the holy wars of recently, of recent times. We were locked into the religious time continuum. Now maybe we're locked into this materialistic time continuum. We're locked in this positive, negative world. Whereas in religion we're locked into this positive, positive world. But actually we find God, or what we call God, in the negative, because we can't see it. That's why we create these pictures about it, in order to be able to understand it. Great works of art, and able to understand something that takes us out of ourselves. I don't know why you're worried for the future like everyone else, I guess. You look at the past and project it into the future, maybe. You're fearful for no real good reason, because you're going to die one day, aren't you? Why don't you unravel death, the fear of death, as opposed to worry about having children, or where there's an overabundance of children already, you might say, because of maybe lack of relationship. because we can't transcend our own ego, our selfishness. What else is it? Again, it's to do with this mechanical world of that this represents, this mechanical camera that takes the authentic and makes it into the inauthentic, because it's a copy of something original. This moment, you're recording it, and you can replay it. And it gives a certain authenticity, I guess, because it's you look at this later on maybe and try and work out what's been said, and maybe that'll sort of might mean something, or you may reinterpret it. Our friend in Oslo reinterprets his world in the context of what he wants from that world. He constructs in his ego and blames someone else, Islam or whoever it might be. So he has to create a tilting point, so he kills people and creates a horrific situation in people's lives in order to... it's very egotistical, isn't it, really, to kill another human being, don't you think? I think a mechanical thing takes away that authenticity and makes it into something else. That's what I think. The problem is thinking itself on this other plane. You're worried about the future. You don't know what's going to happen in the next second. Pascal might get up there and launch himself at you or me. And say, I'm trying to sleep here, guys, give me a break. But you're not happy, or you're happy, or you're worried about what? What exactly are you worried about? What about children? Is that trial and error? You're going to get someone else to bring the child up who's had one when you have a child, which no doubt you will at some stage in the future. You won't be able to bring the child. You don't know how to bring the child up. If you're not going to read all of these stupid books. You're going to have to fly with it. Take it at the moment, aren't you? And of course there's people around you that'll assist you in some way. Mothers and fathers and grandparents and things like that. But nothing will prepare you for that. Nothing can prepare you. Would you want it? Do you want to know what's going to happen tomorrow? Do you want to know how you're going to die? Just know you're going to die. The thing is, do we waste our time worrying about it? Say there's no death. Say we're locked into the material world, and the immaterial world is where you and I commune immortally, forever. Not parallel universes, that's just a game. Say we've had this conversation, as we said before, time and time again. We think we're different because we look different, because we had different backgrounds. You're Czechoslovakian and I'm something else, and he's something else. All of these identifications, countries, they don't really exist, do they? What really? There's only nature, and we've left that to a large extent, it seems to me, and that's our problem. We're living in an inauthentic time, which creates this the bit that's interested when it should be the bit that's disinterested. I mean, look at those two girls, they're kissing one another. What are they thinking? Are they interested, or are they just saying, this is wonderful? Calm down, Pascal. Don't stare, they get self-conscious. It's what human beings should be doing all the time, isn't it? But I don't like homos. I don't like Jews. I don't like Arabs. I don't like Everton supporters. English National Front. All of these identifications, black, white, gay, male, female, They have to exist because that's how evolution is. But look what we do with it. We make it into an identification. I don't know. You're worrying about nothing. The considerations, and I don't mean to say don't think about tomorrow. When you get to a stage where you feel that you're going forward in a relationship and it's metamorphosizing, it'll naturally take its own course, and that'll depend. You're worried about yourself because of what you've done before. The history's dead. You've killed people, and psychologically, is that worse than killing someone physically? I think you probably know where you are with the person that hits you in the face.